3-4 odd, one of the better defenses in the game that a lot of people really haven't shifted to yet. But this defense is really, really effective, and it's in the Minnesota Vikings playbook. As far as how I like to run the defense as a whole, what we're going to basically be doing here is we're going to turn auto flip off. We're going to disable our motion response, option read key conservative, aggressive pitch key, read and pass key conservative. And then at the bottom here, safeties depths are going to be on close and pinch. Not necessarily have to do that, but I prefer it in this defense. Now, as far as personnel for this, one of the main things you need to make sure you do every single time when running this defense is for the packages at the bottom there, you want to turn that to OLB flip. The reason you want to do that is because it's going to make those outside linebackers actually outside linebackers. For whatever reason, the game kind of stock codes them as defensive linemen. They will be terrible in pass coverage if you try to drop them back. So you need to make sure that is OLB flip is set there. Now, the next thing that you need to do is in your personnel here, just kind of some advice for how to set up your personnel. You want your fastest players on the field to be your outside linebackers in this defense. So for me, that's going to be Nolan Smith, and that's going to be Jihad Campbell. They are very, very important to get on the outside here. So let's see if I guess I got to sub him in a couple times here, but anyway, this guy Jihad Campbell. See if I can I not get him down here for some reason? All right, let's put him over here. Okay. Well, for whatever reason, we can't find him, so we'll put another fast dude over here. Zach Bond will be just fine. It's no big deal. You just need speed, acceleration, agility, change of direction. Those are the kind of the most important things. Your best pass rusher, you want to be on the nose, so you want that to be Jalen Carter if you're playing the Eagles, or just kind of a sample team here. And then we'll just put two fast-ish guys there, and then I got Nakobe Dean, and then I'll put I guess I'll put Jihad Campbell up here then. So anyway, OLB flip package, very, very important. You have to have that, and you want to have your faster edge rushers on the outside. So now the next thing that you want to do here is you want to come out in a play. Now, the way that I like to run this defense is I pretty much am always going to have a cover two shell set here. The reason why is because it just gives me the ability to give the same pre-snap look regardless of what formation I'm facing. And honestly, I'm going to pretty much advise you to go ahead and base out a zone with this defense. Now, as far as audibles, I always have this pinch bug 0 in my audibles in case I ever need to get into a man play, ever need to get into just a send 6 good play. This is decent, right? Cover 4 quarters, cover 4 drop. Those are two other plays that I like to have in here. Just again, if I ever need to get into something on the fly, I can get into it. And then Tampa 2, in case I ever just need to get into that. You could also put cover 6 in there. So my base coverage, my base defense basically here is really going to be this cover 6, okay? I'm going to come out in this cover 6 pretty consistently. If you shade underneath, it'll take the match principles away. If you leave it stock, then it will leave the match principles on the play. So as far as the defense is concerned, what you want to do is you want to basically send pressure off of the running back side. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to show blitz. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The way you want to send pressure on this defense typically is you want to send pressure off of the non-tight end side. Okay, I want to make that very clear. You want to send pressure off of the non-tight end side, okay? So in this case, it's to the running back side, but there's some formations like Waff Trio Close where the running back will be on the same side as the tight end, okay? So as far as how we want to do this, it's very, very simple, okay? There's really two methods. The first one is the hover method. So if you want to hover, you can click onto this linebacker here. See if it takes me 10 years to get on him. And I'll show you the pass protection. What you see is this guard is targeting my user. So I'm just going to fake blitz down, and you see that I'm going to get pressure off that left side, okay? That's option 1. Now, that option can be negated, and here's how. If they want to untarget your user or slide to the left side. So they untarget my user, and they pick up the blitz, okay? I like that blitz, though, because if I'm playing somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and they're not untargeting, I can get a send 4 pretty cheaply, right? I can get a send 4 very, very cheaply, okay? Now, as we start to kind of evolve here, you're going to see why this matters. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blitz my user, just like this. And then on the back side, if I wanted to put that defensive end here, if I wanted to put him into a zone or anything, I could do that, and the blitz would still come in. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kind of use him as a contain. But now let's say that they untarget my user again. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to D-pad switch. So at the snap of the ball, I'm going to hit right on the D-pad. What I normally do is shade underneath, and then, you know, maybe I take the linebacker and put him in a curl flap. Okay. But I'm gonna click on to this 3-reg hook. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna hit right on my D-pad as soon as the ball snaps. So the ball snapped, hit right on the D-pad. If they untarget my user, he's gonna come in free. Okay. That's an option. You can run the defense. You can run the defense just like that right there. And it's a great way, in my opinion, to use this defense because you're always giving that threat of pressure on that running back side. So what ultimately starts to happen here, and actually let me go back one more time and show this just as a base rush. So just like this, switch stick off, you see the edge pressure come in. Okay. Now, what's going to happen as this game kind of goes on is they're going to say, okay, well, he's only sending pressure off his user side. And this is the beauty of 3-4-odd, is that you can send pressure off of either side. So what they'll start to do is they might start to half slide to the left side. Okay. If they give you something like that, where they're half sliding to the left side and you're doing this D-pad method, you'll see here a lot of times pressure will still come in. The only real way for them to counter this blitz is to fully commit to blocking it, either by blocking a running back or by full sliding. Okay, and I'll also show this against empty protection. It's basically exactly the same in terms of our purposes here. You'll see if I send this against empty protection, I'm going to get the pressure. Okay, so you're still going to be able to get the pressure versus empty or base protection. It's why I like 3-4-odd. There's not as much variation there. But anyways, so they have to basically full slide to the right side. So all we're going to do here is what I like to do is mix this blitz concept in. It's a slant my line inside, and then I'm going to blitz this linebacker on the right side. So you see this is what the player it looks like. And then if we wanted to, what we could do is we could hard flat our user. We could do a little cover 3 rotation like this if we wanted to. But here's the beauty of this. Let's say that they don't slide protect. Normally they're not going to target our user because our user, it wouldn't make sense for them to consistently target or untarget our user because we're going to scream at them up the middle with some of our other blitzes. So now they're done kind of untargeting our user. So if we guess wrong, you're still going to get typically that left side pressure just from the hover. Okay. And then if they guess wrong, so let's say they full slide to the right side, well, now, you know, you can send, you really don't even need to send this many people, but you can send this pressure like this, and this linebacker on the right will come in free. Another way to do this, and this is kind of how I like to mix up my 3-4-odd, is there's the sending 2. So if I want to send 2 out of this, what I'll do is I will, and you could also easily just flip the play if you wanted to do that. You could just flip the play. You see nothing really changes, honestly. We're just going to flip the play here. We're going to spy the DT, and then we're going to drop this D end into probably a hard flat, honestly, or a hook, something like that. And then basically, if they full slide, a lot of times this can come in. If they don't full slide, you're just going to send 2 and you're going to shed. But a lot of times this thing can come in on a full slide. Maybe you have to send the nose tackle. But in general, this is a way that I will I call it just a change up look, right? And again, if they flip, then I'm going to flip. So if they flip, then everything about this defense basically just flips. So you see here, we're now over here. We send the pressure this way, and we're good to go. All right. And then the other thing that I was going to say is the beauty of this is also you have a send 3. So the send 3 here, we're going to flip it. And then we're just going to basically send 3. We can spy the DT or the D end here, whatever you want to do. I'm going to spy the D end. And then if they full slide, you normally will have a little better shot here of being able to come in clean. For some reason, it did not come in clean there. And I'll show you one other thing that we can do as far as like a mix in pressure. So another mix in pressure that you have from 3-4-odd that I think is really, really good is we'll flip this and we'll go like this, and we'll blitz this. We'll send 5 like this. So the reason I like this, again, pretty much solely for a change of pace look. What you could do is kind of move these guys a little bit back into where you want them to be if they end up moving or anything like that. But effectively, right? What we're able to do here is now we're kind of changing the picture just slightly. But, if they're doing any, this pressure is going to come in even if they don't block, right? Even if they don't do any pass protection. If they're full sliding, obviously, this is going to be a great way to kind of mix in. And then I'll also send 4 like this. Every now and then I'll send 4 like this and, just try to get the pressure in that way. So normally I like to blitz off the non-tight end side, but situationally, we could blitz off the tight end side. And it just requires flipping the play. I would say that flipping the play is better than coming out in cover 3. I just think it's better because, as you see, there's really nothing that happens. The defensive tackle moves, but if you flip the play at the play call screen, they're not going to know, right, that you're flipping the play. And then the other little thing here is if I drop this D in a hook and just send 4, typically this blitz will still come in, as you can see right here. So I just think that 3-4 auto is really good. It's going to force them to have to block their halfback, which ultimately in this game is kind of all that you can ask for. And then you still put yourself in a pretty good position to be able to get good sheds regardless of what the offense does.